Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video, the Guaranteed Champion event for Supreme Kael is active in the game. We have enough shards to talk about that as well, don't worry. And I'm going to be pulling for him today. I'm going for it. I am definitely going for this Supreme Kael. It's a big question I've been asked in my videos recently. I was asked a bunch on stream today as well. Is Supreme Kael worth 110 void shards? Is he worth it? Now, I want to give you two different answers to that question because I think there's two very different questions being asked there. Number one, is it worth buying with money 110 void shards for Supreme Kael? That obviously depends more on your financial situation, but broadly speaking, actually, I would say for most people that no, it's not worth it. That's a ton of money, probably an average of $2.50 per shard. So this champion is going to cost you something like almost $300, probably, realistically. That's a huge amount of money. That's a nice weekend away. That's a bunch of meals out. That's a huge chunk of your mortgage, right? That's a lot of money. That's like $300 to be like 5 brand new day one full release AAA games, right? $60 each. That's a ton of money. Is he worth that? In my opinion, no, but like that's up to you. Now, question number two is if you've been saving up a bunch of void shards and you just have 110 in the bank ready to go, Supreme Kael is here right now, is he worth it then? That's a different question. And for me, the answer to that is probably most likely yes. So actually, let me go over what we did in a recent video. I actually did a very recent video breaking down guaranteed champions and the chances for guaranteed and how good they are. And I showed you a method to work this out. So I checked the Hell Hades tier list and I checked the Aftershock tier list for how they rank Supreme Kael. And roughly speaking, I think they were ranking him at something like 14th out of all the void legendaries. So out of the 44 potential void legendaries you can pull from shards, from void shards, there's more void legendaries than that, but you can't pull them all from the shards. He's 14 out of 44, which is 32%. So in other words, there's 32% of the void champions are better than him, and about 68% are worse than him, something like that. So he's pretty good, right? If you were in school and you said, hey, is that the 30th percentile or the 70th percentile? I always get confused. But, if you're saying, hey, I'm better than 70% of the class, worse than 30%, it's a pretty good place to be. Not the best, but very good. So yeah, that's all right. Now, you have to work out as well the opportunity cost, right? Here we go. So this is comparing it to a 2x event. So in a 2x event, we'll keep it very simple. You would have, obviously, a 1%, a boosted 1% chance per shard to get a legendary. So with 110 void shards, you would get, on average, 1.1 legendaries. We're keeping it simple. We're not factoring in the mercy system. And obviously, there's swings of luck, but it doesn't really matter. Now, if we compare that to this event where we have a 0.5% chance per shard, you would get 0.55, right? 0.55 legendaries. The difference is actually pretty simple, really. Difference, there we go, which is actually 0.55. Very straightforward working this one out. That's what you're missing out on. If you pulled your 110 shards in a 2x event versus pulling them right now for this Supreme Kael, you would get 0.55 extra random legendaries. How does that compare to just getting Supreme Kael? Obviously, I think that's pretty bad, right? You could probably tell at a quick glance if he's better than most of the Void Legendaries, if he's pretty highly rated, half of Void Legendary is not really going to compare. I mean, if you do the maths then on this, if we basically half the 32%, slightly different from half, I checked this, you'd 17.6%, right? That's basically the cost. You'd have half an extra random legendary with a 32% chance that they're better. You're basically missing out on a 17.6% chance to get a better legendary than Supreme Kael. You're obviously, compared to this, you're getting less total legendaries. You're getting an extra 0.45 of a legendary that by getting the Supreme Kael from this instead. So in my opinion, if you got the shards saved up, pretty good. It's pretty darn good. It obviously depends, of course, the calculation depends on, do you agree with that ranking in the tier list? My quick take on this Supreme Kael, I think this A3 is very unique. Increased accuracy with decreased resistance. Now, increase and decrease resistance have been in the game now for a good few months, actually. And at least as of right now, they haven't really been that important. You can do some cool stuff. I'm hoping to do maybe some Oella videos soon as well. I already have some Oella videos on the channel. I think Oella is really underrated with increased resistance, recent fusion. But increased resist, decreased resist haven't been that impactful. But I think if you're the sort of person, if you're the sort of person that has 110 void shards or would buy that many, you're probably going to be playing the game for a good while. You're pretty invested, right? If you think about the next year, the next 2 years of content in the game, is there a chance that they add bosses with crazy high resistance where this sort of stuff might actually be best in slot? I think the chance actually is pretty high, right? Maybe even stage 20, stage 25 of hard mode dungeons, I expect to come. Ultra Nightmare Hydra, I expect to come as well. Probably both of those things in the next year, easily. There's a pretty good chance that these buffs could be important. And also, the final thing I would say on that is, with Arena, yeah, we know Live Arena is coming, and one of the rewards, stay tuned for a video over on Cold Brew's channel. Gonna have a collab with Cold Brew coming out later. We actually talked in depth about the new Great Hall and what the rewards might be in your new Great Hall, how to spend these new medals you're gonna get from Live Arena. And guess what? You can really up your accuracy from doing that. And these dungeons could be designed so that you need to grind Live Arena for like a year, build out your Great Hall. That could take time. You could possibly shortcut that in a big way. Certainly for Dragon Hard, I would say. Dragon Stage 25 Hard. Supreme Kael could be best in slot. That sort of stuff. So, look, let's dive in. I'll obviously go have to feed. Actually, let me feed some champions right now so we don't have to pause. Let me be right back in 1 minute here. All right, there we go. We're back. I should have done this before recording. I forgot. We're back. We've got the space. 110 void shards. Let's go. Obviously, guys, we talked about it in the whaling video recently, and I talked about it on stream today, actually, during the clan boss run we did on the stream today. If you want to watch, wow, 2 good epics right there. I did buy some shards for this, so that's different. Again, remember, that's different for me than it is for you. And I think it's a really interesting question for me as well, which is obviously, you know, for me, buying shards as a content creator, I get to make these videos. We get to like have fun discussions about that. It's a tax write-off as well. Like there's a whole bunch of different factors. So I just want to make that clear. Just because I'm going and buying shards, if you're a content creator, then I think you probably should too. But if you're not, or it obviously depends on how big your channel is and all of that. But yeah, so that's really something to consider. Do as I say, not as I do. Right, so here we go. Anyway, we'll see. I'm nowhere near Mercy on Voids, right? So we're not going to hit Mercy during this. We'd have to get super lucky to pull a Legendary. We can still hope that it will happen, though. We can still hope, okay? Obviously, there's so many Legendaries I'd like to get. A Sifi would be insane. Obviously, Taras or Marishka. There's so many good ones. To Hanorak. Any of those would be insane. I would love a non-dupe. You know, getting a duplicate Void, always a little bit disappointing, so I prefer to get a non-dupe. Even if they were kind of a bad Void champion, I'd still settle for it. But honestly, out of 110 Void shards, as you saw from my thing, we're expecting half of a random Legendary. So it's really 50-50 whether we'd get one at all. So anything would be amazing. We will just have to see. Here we go. How are we doing on our things? Almost halfway there. The Void shards are going to be fully depleted after this. And this would be the other thing I would say as well. If you're free to play, I think I'm going to do a video on this, I think maybe tomorrow, but something to consider with these guaranteed. It would take you, I think, endgame free to play. I think it would take you approximately 3 months getting every single available free void shard to save up 110 for a guaranteed void. Approximately 3 months. And they've been doing recently these guaranteed voids very frequently. So there's no way you could do every single one for free. It's not possible. So that's something you could consider. With Supreme Kael, if you had those void shards saved up, like I said, based off of what I think he's a pretty good bet. But you might decide, actually, you know what? I don't think it's a good bet. I think I can get around this accuracy stuff for future content. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I'd rather save up for whatever the next guaranteed void they do, because they've been doing a lot of them. So that's also something to consider as well. No sign of extra legendary for us here so far today. I don't know. I don't feel lucky, right? Which is a completely in my head thing. But I don't feel lucky. Oh, I thought maybe. We've got 20 to go. Again, there's no mercy system being hit here. And certainly for me, though, coming out of this, if we don't pull another legendary, the guaranteed should not reset our mercy system. We should actually double check that is the case. It has been for every single other one. So I actually will have my mercy system pretty well built up now. So for me, from now on, I would definitely want to be considering actually, saving up for. Let's double check. Yeah, it doesn't reset mercy system. So now I think I'm about going to be approximately 140 in. So my next 80 void shards with 140 on top will basically be guaranteeing a legendary. So that's where, you know, looking for a really good 10x event for like a Crizzy or something could be really important. Who knows? Maybe we hit another legendary in this 10 pull. We'll certainly get a Supreme Kael. Let's go. Can we get something else? Can we get lucky? I'd love an Akemtum as well if we get some epics. I don't think we pulled him. Been a bit distracted trying to piece this stuff together. The final chance? No, it's nothing. And there he is, the man himself with 32,000 for this section for this event. We've got Supreme Kael. He is locked in. He is in the bank. The mercy system is built up. Clarium, of course, is like, you sucker. We're going to try sell you more stuff. No surprise there. Bunch of CVC points. And yeah, the red dot, no other red dots. He was the only new thing that we got. There's a few voids. Nia as well. I would have loved to get White Dried Nia or Kempton. But yeah, Supreme Kael in the bank. Mercy system built up. And the bank account certainly lighter. A good few euro, let me tell you. Is it the right decision or not? I'm actually going to go and read all those comments on that previous video. I haven't had a chance to read all of them yet. Read a good few on stream, but going to read through them all and definitely consider, you know, my own position and stuff moving forwards. But look, I hope you enjoyed this one. Supreme Kael, I think he's a really interesting champion. I'm excited to see what people do with him moving forwards. Let me know what your plans are and all of that. But thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.